Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Dallas Cowboys preview for the 2016 season, and weirdly enough, I'm actually going to give you a nice preview. I'm not going to just tell you to F off like I did last time, because Greg Hardy's not on this team anymore, and thank God, thank you, Jerry Jones, and if you re-sign him, then we're going to go back to being hostile. But America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, hopefully they can stay healthy. They didn't make too many splashes in free agency. They did sign Alfred Morris to be one of the backups to run DMC and to Ezekiel Elliott. But now the real story with the Dallas Cowboys is suspension. We got Rolando McClain. He's been suspended for 10 games. You got DeMarcus Lawrence. He's been suspended for 4. Randy Gregory. He's been suspended for 4. That's going to be weighing on this defense a lot. I mean, those are two guys, at least in, Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence, who were on your defensive line, who were, Randy Gregory really hasn't proven himself yet because he was drafted last year and really hasn't gotten on the field enough to prove himself. But DeMarcus Lawrence was one of your better defensive linemen last year. I think he was actually the best defensive lineman on the Cowboys. And Rolando McClain filled in for Sean Lee when he was injured, and Rolando McClain really showed himself. Maybe it wasn't all natural. Maybe that's why he did get suspended for 10 games. But with this team, it's really I see two storylines: injuries and suspensions. Obviously, the suspensions we mentioned earlier, but Tony Romo was also injured for most of the season for the Dallas Cowboys. That's why they were so bad last year, was because they didn't have a true quarterback. They had Brandon Weeden out there. We know how well that can work. But looking at this offense, if Tony Romo could stay healthy, this might be one of the best offenses in the NFL. You look at Dez Bryant on the outside, one of the best wide receivers in the game. You got Tony Romo, when healthy, can be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, and you have Ezekiel Elliott, who drafted 4th overall in the NBA draft. This is kind of like the 90s if all these guys can stay healthy and if they can all live up to their potential with Aikman, Smith, and Irving. If these guys can play up to the potential, they might be able to rival the 90s Cowboys. I'm not saying they'll be as good, but I mean, still, you look at that Cowboys offensive line, probably the best in the game. You got, Tony Romo, again, can be a top 10 quarterback in this league. Dez Bryant can be a top wide receiver if healthy, and, Ezekiel Elliott has a lot of potential. He has a lot of, room to run with that great offensive line. This team can do a lot from an offensive standpoint. You also have Cole Beasley there. I mean, you have a lot of pieces there. You have Jason Witten as well, one of the greatest tight ends of all time. You have a lot of pieces, a great offensive line. This offense has a lot there to work with, and this offense, if Tony Romo can stay healthy, can be one of the best offenses in the league. If you look at the defensive side, I mean, this is going to be where they struggle. This is going to be where they kind of lose games. If we look at this defense, suspensions are going to hurt, injuries are going to hurt. Their passing defense was good last year. Their run defense was pretty poor. I don't know really where they're going to get pressure on the quarterback this year. That's going to really hurt their passing defense. I think that this Cowboys defense is going to struggle, and I think this team's going to struggle if this offense doesn't stay healthy. I think if this offense stays healthy, they'll definitely compete for the NFC East. I think they'll definitely compete for a NFC wild card spot. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs if everyone could stay healthy. The question is, how much can that defense take them? Because we obviously saw with the Denver Broncos defense that basically won them the Super Bowl last year. They really didn't need an offense. Obviously defense is still key in this NFL, but I think this offense has enough firepower to take them to the playoffs again if everyone stays healthy and if everyone can come back from suspension. It's as good as they were last year. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you are a Dallas Cowboys fan, do not forget to share this to all of your Cowboys friends. And if you are an MVP fan, do not forget to share this as well. That would mean a lot to us if you did start sharing our stuff, and that would mean, we just appreciate it a ton. And if you are a Cowboys fan and want to see your prediction for your Dallas Cowboys team first, check out the description down below. There's a survey, and the team with the most votes gets their predictions first when we start rolling those out late January, mid-August, or around that time. If you do want to see your Cowboys first, vote down below for that. But that's going to wrap up this video. Don't forget to follow us on all of our social media platforms here. But the most important one is right there, patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. If you do want to support MVP and help us put out great content, you can check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Also, if you donate $1, you do get a monthly podcast with 3 guys from MVP. We usually talk about stories and whatever we really feel like. And it usually ends up being a fun podcast. So if you're interested, check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. I'm Sean Anderson, and I'll see you next time.